Hello and welcome to the channel. I hope you're all well, doing some fishing if you can. Today we're going to tie a nymph, and it is the dinky damsel nymph. I know in different parts of the world the word dinky has different connotations, and in this sense it's just going to be small. Dinky just means small. So in the vise I have a size 12 hook. Now the damsel nymph, when it is at its nymph stage, is only about an inch long, maybe 2.5 centimeters. Now it's often tied on a much larger hook and almost streamer style, but today we're going to tie it as a nymph. And don't be frightened of changing the color. You know, this is the standard sort of olive, but it does have different colors. There's a paler one there, and it's almost brown at some stages of its evolution. And of course you can add weight if that's what you want. Now I'm going to tie it without weight, and as I say, I have the size 12 nymph hook in the vise. I'm tying with 10/0 brown thread. I'm going to start that a little bit back from the eye, wind on the thread and trim it up. Now this does have a rib, and I'm going to use some chartreuse wire. It's quite fine, won't need a lot of it. Just pull off a piece, and I'm going to tie that in along the length of the hook shank to the rear, and I'll just pop that in the spring. Now the tail and body is going to be marabou. You can use any colour marabou you like. I'm using this olive, and you need to pull off about an inch or 2 centimeters, and I'm going to tie that in. I'm going to put one wrap underneath the towel to keep it lifted and put it in place. And I'm going to wind the thread to the thorax area, and I'm going to give this a slight twist to a rope as I wind it on, and this will create the sort of body that we're looking for, with lots of fibers, which will represent, of course, the gills along the nymph, and tie this off at the thorax area. And trim up the excess. Now the length of the tail, quite short. As we've already said, it's a short nymph. Try and get these fibers all going the right way, and trim it up to something of that nature. Now you can put some flash in the tail if you want, but I don't bother. And I'm going to wrap on the rib. Now when you wind this on, just wriggle it through the fibers. You don't want to flatten them all. Just wind up the body to the thorax area and tie off the wire. This should break off. There. Pull back these fibers and tidy up. Now for the thorax cover, I'm going to use some pheasant tail, standard pheasant tail. I'm going to take off, what, 6 or 8 fibers, pull them out at 90 degrees and tear them off. And I'm just going to trim up the stubs at the end, and we're going to tie these in on top. Just pull those to length and tie them down. Like so. Now for the thorax, I'm going to use a few fibers of the marabou. just to create some dubbing. Let's wind that on, keep it tight. I think that will be enough, and tie off the marabou and trim it up. And tidy up. Right, now for the legs I'm going to use some partridge, and I've taken off a feather and trimmed it up, and I've included plenty of red in the markings, which will look good for the legs. So I'm just going to pull back the fibres, the lower fibres that I'm going to use for the legs. And I'm left with that, and I'm just going to take out the point, leaving a stub for tying in. Tie in the partridge, and I'm going to give this probably just one wrap, no more. Pull back the fibres, and tie off the partridge. And trim it up. Pull back these fibres, and I'll just tidy up here a little. I'm going to pull over the pheasant tail to create the thorax cover, making these legs go down either side, and tie off the pheasant tail. And trim it up. And build up the head. And to tie off the fly, I'm going to use a half-hitch tool. So, and trim up the tying thread. Right, I'm going to put just a little bit of glue onto the head to secure it. And make sure that the eye is clear. Just move this to the front of the vise. And there you have the finished nymph. Fairly simple tying, but very effective. The dinky damsel. Now don't hesitate to give this a thumbs up, share it if you will, and do become a subscriber if you're not already a subscriber. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for viewing. Bye.